right now for an all-out breakdown of that lineup is basketball legend and Sportsdesk basketball analyst, none other than the point laureate, Coach Ronnie Monsano. Welcome back to Sportsdesk, Coach Ronnie. Good morning.
Good morning, Andre. Thank you for having me again.
Of course, you know we're gonna have you always when it comes to Philippine basketball. Let's talk, eto na, Coach. May lineup na tayo for South Korea. And as expected, nandun nga si Ange Kwame. Tapos nandun din si Kai Soto. Apparently, di ba the team found him fit enough for tonight's match. Sabi pa nung una, hindi masyadong naka-ensayo because of quarantine. But they're both there. Let's take a look at the roster once again on our screens. I want to get your thoughts, Coach Ronnie, your initial thoughts upon seeing this roster against South Korea tonight.
Probably one of the tallest rosters that we've had in recent times. We have the size, the range, the quickness, and I think the flexibility or versatility in terms of roster power to be able to match up against the two teams that we'll be facing in the three-game third window for our Gilas national team.
Siyempre, nabanggit mo size, range, quickness, versatility, welcome development, itong abundance of height sa team. Sabi mo nga, it's probably one of the tallest. But Coach, for many years, alam naman natin, ang isa sa mga kilala tayo, yung speed. Yan yung parang naging signature ng Gilas, especially with that drive and dish, di ba? Yung kick-out, drive, kick-out na sistema. Will that still be the case given the lineup that we have now under Coach Tab Baldwin? Will be still utilizing those a lot of screens and kickouts and quickness?
Yung dribble drive philosophy was under the belt of Coach Chot Reyes. From his time, wherein that was, I think, 2013, wherein the Philippine team was able to beat South Korea here in home soil to be able to make it to the finals of the FIBA Cup. This is a different offensive system that Coach Tab Baldwin has been able to show in the last few years at least, including competing in the Jones Cup. And we expect that kind of system to still be applied by Coach Tab. Execution, discipline, direction, a lot of screens, a lot of misdirections, and making sure that that ball is shared and not dominated by one single player.
Pati yung acting like a well-oiled machine, again, you use that term, yung execution and misdirection. Coach, nung Monday, tinanong kita, sinong pwedeng pumalit? Kina David Defonso, Ray Suerte, and Matt Nieto, all three of whom, syempre, injured. Pero sabi mo, si JD Tungkab, si RJ Abarrientos, and si SJ Belangel. And guess what? Tama ang Ronnie Magsanoc. Nandyan silang tatlo. Let's talk more about those three, starting with Tungkab. What does JD Tungkab bring to this particular Gilas team, Coach?
JD Tungkab fits the template of Coach Tab really well. Length, size, quickness. But I think it is his ability to be a lockdown defensive player for multiple positions that has gotten him the nod to secure one of the spots for the initial roster for our first game. Kasi, two guard talaga si JD Tungkab. Pero with the system of Coach Tab Baldwin, with the way they execute, walang problema for JD to be a combo guard. But more than that, can defend the best point guard of the opposition and can also guard the shooters. Maski kanina mo ilagay, kaya niyang tapatan. And that is not an easy spot to fill, really. But that is what he brings to the table for Coach Tab Baldwin.
Pansin ko nga din, madaming combo guards itong gagamitin ni Coach Tab. Sina Tungkab. Next naman natin si RJ Abarrientos. Sabi mo last Monday na the kind of game that RJ has fits the international style of play. He did play under you sa 3x3 international competition. Tell us more about RJ Abarrientos and what kind of play na babagay nga, sabi mo, dito sa international play.
I was just reading this morning about some question marks about the physical attributes of RJ because of his size. But sabi rin ni Coach Tab, when you play the international game, yung athleticism is not overemphasized. Therefore, if you have an advanced reading of the game, it can deflate whatever disadvantages that you have in terms of size. Meaning, si RJ kasi talaga yung smartness,
yung IQ.
Beyond his years. No? He may be young, but the way he plays and reads the game, hindi mo na ituturo yan eh. That is something that is innate to him, and that is something that is unique to him. So he brings a lot of smartness and read, ability to adapt to his teammates, yung pass first, score next. But if you need him to score, he can also do the same for you. So, this will be his baptism of fire because he has not seen collegiate action yet. Pero one of a rare breed of players na makakapag na for the national men's team without still even seeing action in the collegiate level. And that speaks volumes on the kind of potential and really the kind of playing level that he has at his very young age.
Well, nabanggit mo nga yung high basketball IQ. Well, his last name is Abarrientos, and it runs in the blood. Pamangkin siya ni Flying A, Johnny Abarrientos. Now, let's move to that third guy that you mentioned that will come in and step up, SJ Belangel. We've seen what Belangel can do sa Ateneo. Some even have said na siya yung heir apparent ni Matt Nieto, also a player that reads the game well, has a high basketball IQ. Is that the same case here sa Gilas Pilipinas? Well, obviously we heard that, Coach Ronnie. We lost Coach Ronnie Magsanoc, but we will try to get him back. Some new leaders seen to rise for Gilas in the third window of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Later, we'll try to get Coach Ronnie, and we will talk about Dwight Ramos and team captain Isaac Go. But for now, we still have with us Sportsdesk basketball analyst, point laureate, Coach Ronnie Monsano. Coach?
Andre?
Okay, you're still there. All right, good to have you back. We've been talking about that Gilas Pilipinas lineup for their game tonight against South Korea in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Balikan natin yung SJ Belangel nung naputol tayo. Another guy na kanina nga sabi ko, yung mataas din ng basketball IQ niya. And sabi nga, siya yung pwedeng sumunod kay Matt Nieto. Is this also the case, you think, pagdating sa Gilas Pilipinas?
Alam naman natin yung kakayahan ni Matt Nieto is also one of a kind. And I don't think that the reason why RJ Barrientos and SJ Belangel are there is para mapalitan yung si Matt Nieto. Nandyan sila para tulungan yung Gilas Pilipinas to be able to compete well against South Korea, of course, because they play differently. But one thing that SJ Belangel has is that his familiarity with the system of Coach Tab. Naglaro na siya para sa Ateneo Blue Eagles, naging parte na siya ng winning run ng Ateneo. Therefore, alam na niya yung template na gusto ni Coach Tab, alam na niya yung system offensively and defensively. But more than that, he can flourish in the system of Coach Tab. Dahil tandaan natin, first year pa lang niya sa college, pero napakita niya yung kahutayan niya seamlessly.
Yeah.
And I think being a tall guard at getting a baptism of fire dito sa ating FIBA Asia Cup na parating mamaya, magandang pagsubok ito para kay SJ Belangel to also give us an idea or a peek into the potential that he has in terms of being a regular roster player para sa ating Gilas national men's team.
Oh, we'll be keeping our eyes on Tungkab, Abarrientos, and Belangel. Coach, earlier this week, the SBP named Isaac Go as the new captain of the squad, replacing Ray Suerte. Dahil nga injury, hindi pwede si Ray. We spoke to Isaac yesterday. I want to get your thoughts. What do you think of the situation and trusting, Coach Tab and trusting Isaac Go with this tall task of being captain?
Once again, a very familiar roster player in terms of the philosophies of Coach Tab. And this is someone who is not just very good in terms of his athletic abilities or playing abilities, but a very smart person too, of course. Alam naman natin kung ano ang kakayahan ni Isaac pagdating sa academics. But more than that, he translates it into being a very good chemistry player and a glue guy. No? Can lead, a veteran already in the international level of play. At dahil sa sobrang batang team, pwede nung i-consider na kuya. Because remember, he is a part of the PBA draft already. And after his commitment to the national team, will go direct to the PBA to play professionally. Pero, ayun nga, willing to still serve flag and country. And very able leader, of course, si Isaac Go, no doubt.
Siyempre, isa pang inaabangan na leader din sa team na ito. Actually, parang isa na siya sa mga veterano in this young team, si Dwight Ramos. Although he hasn't seen action sa UAP, but he's done pretty well. Sa previous window, he's played very well for the national team. Your thoughts, Coach, on Saint Dwight, as he is called, and how Dwight Ramos just emerged as one of the faces on this team na pwedeng talagang long-term, future-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He's long been under the radar or in the radar of even Coach Reyes during his time or his stint as national head coach, national team head coach. And then eventually, after playing for a few years for Cal Fullerton, a Division I USNCAA school, no? Alam mo talagang legit talent, no? At he led the wing scoring for the Philippine team in the second window. In fact, he shot 7 for 7 in the game 1 or in the first meeting against Thailand. Perfect from the 2, perfect from the 3, perfect from the free throw line. So I believe it's about 16.5 points a game for Team Philippines. And I would say that sky's the limit when I talk about his scoring abilities and his ability to also guard the smaller backcourt personnel of the other teams. No? So yun ang hinahanap lagi ni Coach Tab eh. Yung hindi lang merong threat offensively, pero merong kakayahang maging lockdown defender on the other end. Hindi one-way player, all two-way players. And mabigat itong batang to. Magaling talaga at higit sa lahat, game player. A clutch player, to say the least, itong si Dwight Ramos.
Pati talagang game face lang siya, laro lang pag nakikita mo.
Laro lang.
Laro lang. Coach, an all-cadet Philippine lineup nga to, wala yung, syempre, mga pros, talagang bata. They'll be taking on a veteran South Korea squad. Sa tingin mo, Coach Ronnie, sino yung, tingin mo ako ng name or names na tingin mo magiging X-factor or factors for Gilas?
Number 1, I believe, will be Ange Guame. Simply because I think this is the first time that we will not be parading an Andre Blatch or a Marcus Taupit to man the front line for the country. Number 2, of course, has to be along the backcourt line dahil dito tinamaan yung injuries ng ating national team. So, I'd say Tongkap and Dwight Ramos will have a lot on their shoulders heading to tonight's game, given that sila na yung may experience talaga sa position end. And then, I would say Carl Tamayo.
Carl Tamayo.
He's been under the radar, but I know that I've learned that Coach Tab has high regard for this young man because of his unique ability to play multiple spots, not just the 5 or the 4, but perhaps even the 3 position at that size, which, kumbaga, gives him the flexibility that we have not seen before for a Filipino talent in the international level. So, if Carl is able to fit that template to a T, then it will be a difficult matchup for the other teams. Imagine that tall, hard to match up with, and then if you have the ability to guard the small forwards of the other teams on the other end, then the plus factor is really such a very high factor in favor, of course, of Carl Tamayo and Gilas Breakdown.
Well, before we talk about that lineup naman, Coach Ronnie, against Indonesia, first let's find out the answer to our quiz question of the day. Again, the question was, Gilas Pilipinas notched a historic victory against South Korea in August of 2013 to qualify for the FIBA World Cup for the first time in 4 decades. Who top scored for Gilas in that match? Coach Ronnie, naalala mo pa ba yun? I think we were all there at the Mall of Asia Arena when history happened. Sino sa tingin mo, Coach?
Hindi ko na masyado maalala. Hindi ko maalala kung si Jimmy Alapag pa o si Marcos. Sino na ba yung nag-lead? Pero naalala ko lang kasi nabingi ako sa sobrang lakas nung hiyawan, especially nung final two quarters. Dahil alam mo naman, kikilabutan ka talaga. Basta importante lang doon, Andre, yung final score. Na kung saan we finally broke that long-standing winless spell against South Korea.
Ako hula ko din, Jimmy Alapag or baka Mark Fingers pa nga eh. But the correct answer is the Blur, Jason Castro. Castro top scored for Gilas with 17 points in that historic game against South Korea. Coach, eto naman, let's move on. Kanina pinag-usapan natin yung first match against South Korea tonight. The SBP also released that Gilas lineup against Indonesia. Tingnan natin on our screens. We'll be looking at the lineup against Indonesia. There it is. And instead of JD Tongkab, Javi Gomez de Leano, and Mike Nieto, si Coach Tab, elected to go with Jordan Heading, Gio Chu, and Lebron Lopez for this game. Coach Ronnie, why go with those 3 versus Indonesia? And yun nga, iniba ni Coach Tab ang kanyang lineup against Indonesia?
Unang-una, each and every team can fly in 15 players or can field 15 players and play 12 at any given game. Kumbaga, kung sinong lineup na gusto mong ipasok for this particular matchup, pwede. And we are exercising that. Maliwanag naman yung front ni Coach Tab Alvin. Sabi ni Coach Tab Alvin, developing the pool of players into experienced international players, as well as fielding a competitive roster for each game. And that is exactly what he is trying to do. Give this pool of players the necessary exposure, no, para makita mo rin, mag-gauge mo rin, ma-assess mo rin, and at the same time, trying to build a winning roster, no? Dahil tandaan natin, after the FIBA Asia Cup, dire-diretso itong team na to sa OQT sa Belgrade, Serbia.
Serbia, yeah.
Barely a week and a half, no?
Yeah.
Kasi alam ko, ang laban nila ron, 29.
Tuloy-tuloy.
29 na agad,
Wala nang pahinga.
Serbia, mabibigat ang mga makakaharap dyan. Senegal, diba, Puerto Rico. So, I think this is just headed in that direction and hindi mo ma-assess kung sino rin yung isasama mo rin kung hindi mo sila makikita. And at the same time, want to give your players a rest dahil